I know you recognize this face behind me. It's my good friend and our former Good Day Austin co-anchor, Loriana Hernandez. In January 2014, so she could be with her husband Caesar and their little boy Gabriel in the Washington, D.C. area. They'd lived apart due to their jobs in TV for a year or so. But right after we said goodbye to Loriana, she was hit with devastating news. She was diagnosed with leukemia. Not one to sit back and wait for answers, Loriana was on a plane within days of her diagnosis for treatment at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore. She spent much of 2014 in and out of the hospital, going through testing, experimental treatment, and chemotherapy. In October of last year, Loriana underwent a bone marrow transplant. Her donor was her sister Lisa, and almost a year after the transplant, the news is good for Loriana. The news is good. We welcome her back just the way you left back in January 2014, in tears. It's been such a long journey between now and then. It is so good to see you.
It has been such a long journey. You know, I've done other interviews on TV, but you guys are my family, and I can't tell you how hard it was. I've been on TV for 20 years. I worked here for 8, and to have the tables turned and become the story, and just watching that video made me so emotional because you see the downfall of how things crumbled, and I can see the difference, and I started to swell and have problems, and I didn't know that while I was saying goodbye to everyone here to go join my husband in DC, that leukemia was in my body, brewing.
Yeah, just within days of leaving this show, you got that diagnosis.
And remember, you and Zach remember back in November before I left, I came to work with arm pain, and I between sound bites, I was holding my arm, I was putting ice packs on it, and I thought, oh, I just should, I didn't know what it was, but I figured maybe I lifted weights too hard. I was so fit and so into working out, clean eating, green drinking.
You talk about being tired, and we'd be like, well, yeah, you're working a morning show in the middle of the night, you're watching Gabriel. So all these things that had another plausible explanation, turns out that's not what it was.
And 2 doctors told me, you're just run down. You have a crazy schedule, you're at a lot of events, you have a son, you're commuting with your husband. And I liked what I heard. So one message I have for everybody today is, just because you like that opinion, get a second opinion and get a third. It wasn't until my fertility doctor had said we were going to conceive through IVF again, like we did with our first child, who said, he called me and he said, he did a blood test before the procedure and said, I need to come over. And the moving trucks were driving across the country already, and he said, you can't have a baby, you have cancer. And I was in awe because cancer wasn't supposed to happen to me, and that's what I want everyone to know. You can walk around and say, I run triathlons, I'm the clean eating, green drinking,
that is your reputation, healthiest person we know.
But it can happen to you. You can have a low immune system, something can happen and cause this to happen to you. And the best part was, it was not all in vain. I started a campaign called Armor Up because my doctor told me the more fit you are, the better you can fight. The more fit you are, the more chemo we can give you. It ran through, I have a scar that you might be able to see, where the chemo just dripped right into my heart. And I was separated from my son, as all of you know, for a year. I got to see him every 50 days. And he's 2, now he's 3, and it was the toughest year. And you know, this is what you're looking at. This is how the doctors make rounds at Johns Hopkins. There's like 8 doctors who come in, they talk to you, and every day I would say, am I gonna die? Am I gonna die? Like, because they're so transparent. It's a blood cancer, so it's everywhere. There's not a stage. And they are blunt with you and say, you just keep walking because you might. And I didn't know if I was ever going to see my son again. And
between the separation from Gabriel and your husband, and between the long hospital, I mean, you went through hell in 2014. But here you are, almost a year removed from the transplant. And we don't want to say it's all, sunshine and rainbows all the time, but you're doing very well.
I am doing very well, but next, and I hate to put anything out there, next week I have a bone marrow biopsy. And I had 2 friends already who went through this treatment with me. They had bone marrow transplants as well, and they've relapsed at 14 months. And I am terrified. I know it's not healthy to live in fear. It's not, every psychologist will tell you, you come out with PTSD because you lose friends. You wake up the next day and the person you walk with is not there. And it's very serious. And so to hear 2 friends have already relapsed, or people who've cheered me on are gone, I'm terrified.
Well, so many people obviously love you here in Austin. They ask about you all the time, and I tell how you're doing better. But I also say, once a month you get that blood work done, and every time so far the news is great. But you've got that moment where you wait there.
When you
wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy.
I don't. I've gone through some. We've had some other troubles and trials and tribulations in our family, and it puts it in perspective. I may go to the hospital crying over something else, and you get there and you look around and you see everyone with a mask on, and we're all waiting to see if we have if the cancer's back, or if we're going to survive the cancer we're dealing with, and what's going on, if you're going to see your child again. And it's terrifying, because you're one blood draw away from either going home to your family or getting checked back in and again fighting for your life. So I say to everyone, yes, tweet and Facebook, because I love to get on there, but pick your head up and spend time with your family and your loved ones, because you don't know.
That's right.
And get fit.
Yeah.
Don't say, oh, she got cancer and she ate healthy, so I'm just going to go eat some fries and burgers. And
We'll do that sometimes, not all the time.
But really, they can you decide, if cancer were to strike you today or you today, think about this. How much chemo would you get? Do you want to show up with them saying, you need this much, but we're going to give you this much because you can't handle it?
That's right. No, that's very good advice. And one other bit of business. You're here on a mission,
Yes.
too, for the Light the Night, the walk coming up tomorrow, fighting for treatments and research in blood cancer, because we just all want to knock out this and every single other type of cancer.
We do, and I know that you've had this struggle with this in your own family.
my dad,
with
yeah.
your father. We've written back and forth.
Yeah.
And this Light the Night event is so special. They have different lanterns, whether you're a survivor or you're walking for somebody you lost. And we invite everybody to come out. Some people have already been raising money, but you can come out and register on site. I know the weather's going to be a little shaky because it's going to be raining, but if the rain gets bad, they're going to do a modified walk. But it's tomorrow at 5 o'clock at the Miller Development at 4550 Miller Boulevard.
It makes a difference.
It does make a difference. And you can make a difference. Be a bone marrow donor transplant. Sign up. They need more minorities. Roll up your sleeve and donate blood. I got blood every day in the hospital, and go do this walk.
Okay. We're not done putting, even we don't pay you anymore, we're not done putting you to work.
No,
You're
I'm
sticking around
staying.
for a little bit longer. So it's so good to
staying.
see you. We
Missed
have missed
you
you.
guys.
We're going to be right back.